Yeah, I know, middle of the night kind of thing. It's one of those things. I'm awake, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a story time. And if you're up, it's kind of cool. It's like, oh man, story time out of the middle of the Oh, perfect. If not, you'll wake up and with coffee in the morning. It's one of those things of my world of what I'd been through, and it says a lot for this area here that I live in because we're actually a farming state. We really are all about farming. And but I was up in a state where it was about farming there too, but dairy, a lot of dairy. The ground there really sucked, and so it was far better to do the dairy thing, and so they had a lot of dairies up there, and I was a tech for them. And there- there's something that everyone needs to know. If they ever talk to a farmer, you ask them which is the hardest farm to run. I'm pretty sure you're going to get a dairy farm as the vote. Because here's the thing about dairy farms compared to any other farm, that is 365 days a year you have to work. There's no option on that one. Yeah, them cows have got to be milked. If they don't, you got problems. Yeah, yeah, it's major problems, especially it goes into more than a half a day kind of thing because them cows need to get that milk off them. And so if you ever decide you want to go into farming, if you choose dairy, it's going to be a bit of a job. Like I said, 7 days a week. There's no such thing as a day off in a dairy. And that equipment has got to run. It's got to go. And that's what I did. I worked on that stuff and tried to keep them going. And we all took turns on who was on call that night because, yeah, 2 in the morning, pump goes down. Guess what? We got to get the parts and get out there and get that pump running because them cows got to be milked. And so, in a way, I did my emergency call system job there. And, it was interesting. I'll tell you what, though, and that's the story part about this the maintenance and taking care of doing something right and making things right. We have neglected a lot of things because of greed, and we build shit. Well, we're going to change that. But even more important is the job that you're doing. You got to make sure you do a good job. You got to make sure that it's safe and that it's done right so we don't have accidents. We don't have problems. You know, here's the thing about that. If someone dies because of your maintenance, yeah, it's not murder, but it's not good either. A lot of points, a lot of points lost, and especially with the circumstances that surround it. Now, bolt breaks, that's a different story. But, you're chasing the girl at the food cart and not paying attention to your job and half-ass it. And next thing you know, the roller coaster comes apart right there where you were putting it together because you weren't focused. That's pretty serious. So, you know, just one of those heads up things. Because you know, I was so paranoid at that job. I really was because there was times I would literally be going. I had never done this. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've worked on pumps before, but yeah, you just don't know all the systems of a dairy system until you've done them. Well, I hadn't done all the systems, but I was on call. And so, when you get called out there at the middle, you don't know what the hell's broke. You got to go out there and figure that out. Helps to know how the entire thing works. And in the beginning, it was a paranoia. Drove those guys crazy with questions. But you know, questions are a good thing. And though they found it frustrating that I continuously was asking questions about things, you know, it really is the right way to get your journeyman. You're an apprentice in the beginning of every job. You're not a journeyman until you don't have any more questions and you know what you're doing. So if you have questions, you still have much to learn. Don't pretend you don't have questions, though, or pretend like you already know. That's a pretty big screw up, too. That'll bite you in the ass. But yeah, that whole farming thing, I'm telling you, I feel for him. You know, we got this one guy here locally that he's went and put a sign out on his front fence by the road. It says "Socialism kills farming," and I'm sitting there thinking, socialism. What the hell does that mean? To tell you the truth, you know, I really did a shitty job in government in high school, and I had looked that thing up and did that yesterday. And yeah, yeah, you know, I don't. I think he sees the writing on the wall that he's not going to be king of his farm anymore. He's probably figuring it out. He's a Hebrew slave. Dude, we're all Hebrew slaves. We're all Hebrew slaves. Okay, we just got better living quarters and better working conditions and much better life. But if you still want to be a pharaoh, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Plain and simple. It's not how it works, you know. And even the simplest guys, like my old landlord, you know, real estate in general. You know, if that's your business, if you're into making money by collecting rent, yeah, it's going to be a hard hit for you. Unless you're there to collect the money and take your salary. Yeah, you know, it was all about greed anyway. A lot of people that got into real estate was all about knowing one day they would just be collecting rent and they'd be happy. Just collect rent. And then some of them even do the shitty approach with no maintenance, you know. I got one in mind, old President Dump, but you know, it, there's others out there that they just want the rent. They think the building's fine. They think everything's fine. And yeah, again, pharaohs. Not a very good future for you up there on the top side. Yeah, yeah. Unless you were taking care of them and doing the right thing and living a decent salary life yourself. That's the thing about everyone. What is your salary? What have you been living at? I can tell you right now, if you're living over 5 million or 500,000 a year, dude, yeah, you really need to pay attention to what I'm talking about here. Because yeah, not good, not good at all. Yeah, we're gonna have to work with you on that. I know it's hard. You're going down from that salary to a Hebrew slave, but trust me, it's a lot better than those Hebrew slaves really had it. Yeah, you don't have to push no damn stones around. You're still gonna have it pretty damn good. But yeah, really need you guys to grab onto this and to understand. It's the only way it's going to save you. It really is the only way it's going to save you. You got to get that mindset. I'm doing a whole lot better than a Hebrew slave. And remember, we serve. That's what we do on this side. Everybody. Just the way it is. So, anyway, I wanted to tell that story about the dairy. I sitting there thinking about those guys, you know, the 7 days a week, man. They're out there milking. I met one gal that she worked on the farm. Her dad owned it. Man, she was doing it 7 days a week herself. out there on that line milking. I'm telling you, impressive gal. She'll be an awesome angel on the top side. Probably Job, I don't know. I never ever talked to him about her. I'm sure she's probably up there. Because she actually was a decent person. So, yeah, probably is Job. But anyway, you just don't know. We don't know until we get there. I don't know shit really. Couple, but I had one at my old work there at the wood shop. He was a real Job. I did get that one, and kid is impressive. At his young age, he is seriously what it means to be a Job, and knows what it means to do hard work and to be a decent attitude. You won't find a sign out in front of his yard. Yeah. So, anyway, unless the daddy puts it there. I'll let you guys go. It's just a middle of the night kind of thing, story time. I want to let you guys know that we got things planning. We got a window coming. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Need to know bullshit again? Yeah. I guess we'll know when we need to know. Have a good evening.